Sleeper is the #1 fantasy sports app. It pays to know sports. Pick more or less on top players. Your first pick is on us, so start winning now. Play in Texas, Georgia, Minnesota, and 27 more states. Pick anytime across all sports, pregame or live. Over 10 million players are already on Sleeper. Make your picks count. Score up to 1,000 times your cash. Join today. Get up to $100 credit using the code NEST. Call your shot on Sleeper. Download now.
Hello and welcome to another Behind Enemy Lines, another session of Behind Enemy Lines. Let me say it right. We got my good friend in the house here, a man I've been working with here for the last well over a year and a half, fellow compatriot over on the NFC West Roundtable. You can't see my picture behind me when the light's coming through like this, but take my word for it, folks. He's up there on the roundtable, part of the crew. Damn. Very glad to welcome back in the house, AZ Sports Fans, Mike. How you doing, man?
Good, man. I'm doing really, really good. I actually got mine as well. Mine's kind of like hidden under kind of like my flat screen TV on the wall. It's kind of right there. I have it set up. So, yeah, man, I'm excited. Appreciate you for having me on the second time around. Cardinals versus Seahawks in Seattle. And I'm excited to see how this all shakes out, man.
Well, I am too. And I think that last night showed that this is not going to be a game that the Seahawks fans can merely look at and say this is a 3-5 Cardinal team, and we're going to be able to walk right over them, especially with them coming into our house now. I think that the nature of this has really changed on the outlook of this, not just because you won this last week. And you winning this last week against the Cowboys felt like as much a culmination of what's been going on since Jacoby Brissett has taken over there for you at quarterback. And we did get some news today about Jacoby Brissett.
We did. Yeah. Jacoby Brissett is officially named the starter for the Cardinals in week 10 versus the Seattle Seahawks. But not just that, ladies and gentlemen. It definitely feels like Kyler Murray, at least per the multiple reports that we're seeing, he should be out for another 4 to 6 or 4 to 8 weeks. But regardless, it almost kind of feels like the soft benching that we've been talking about in a couple, weeks. And I know you guys were asking me questions, but like I never thought that this team was going to do it because of the monetary reasons, because of how much they owe Kyler Murray. So, and Jonathan Gannon for the longest time has been saying he's the guy. If he's healthy, he's the guy. But it seems like they're finally now starting to pivot to Jacoby Brissett, and they even came on the local radio station this morning as well, where they pinned him in the corner and they told him, okay, you got to tell us what is it. And like they said, even if Kyler was healthy, would you still choose Jacoby? And he essentially said, yeah, we would, because obviously the play, he likes to throw, obviously the health reason as well, which they might have a little bit of factor as well, but you can't deny it, man. We see all the national, eyes on Monday, and the national media that was talking before this game on Monday Night Football, they already kind of were onto it, including myself. This offense runs better with Jacoby Brissett. And I'm kind of glad that the Cardinals is now starting to shift and pivot on over to a taller quarterback.
Yeah, and you can just feel a taller quarterback, a guy with a good arm that can absolutely target in the middle of the field, working off that play action. A lot of it is those in-breaking routes that you need to be able to hit that middle of the field stuff off the play action from under center. And with Kyler, there's always the draw to go back. The initial first run you had is the team went, okay, we have this Kyler Murray. How to utilize this quarterback? Let's get him an air raid guy in here. The first draw wasn't to get to let's get the under center and let's do the typical NFL stuff. You transition to that, which I think spoke more to the lack of the lack of faith in the air raid in general. And that point, as much as it was, well, this is what's best for Kyler. Is that probably pretty accurate?
Yeah, it's weird because when you looked at the offense, I kid you not, like whenever there was anything that put this offense back, holding call, legal shifts, something dumb, right? Where you're behind the chains, like it's like 10 and 17, and then it goes down to the third down. It was usually like 2 runs and a throw. Like that's usually what it was. And the throw wasn't on third down. It was somewhere like in the first or the second. But it was very obvious that this coaching staff just did not trust Kyler Murray to throw the ball down the field. Like they just didn't trust him. They wanted him to have this offense run as a run heavy offense, because that's what we were told all off season long, that you don't have to be Superman. But yeah, man, it's one of those things where like it's so astounding, because I think even after this game, our third down conversion rate was like 7 for 9 versus the Dallas Cowboys. And I get a completely different beast, right? Your defense compared to the Cowboys defense. But like it goes to show that even if the Cardinals are behind the chains, 3rd and 17, 3rd and 8, they're flinging that ball down the field, and Jacoby Brissett gives no Fs. He's going to try to get that first down. So that's kind of something that we're not used to, especially in the first 5 games of the year compared to the last 3. So yeah, I'm for sure.
I think you make a good point. I mean, Brissett's playing with a bit of fearlessness and confidence, and going, look, I don't get a lot of these chances. I'm going to lay on the line. And that's a dangerous type of quarterback when he's got, what I would say is, he doesn't have a defining plus skill set in any real way, but he's got a pretty good arm. He's got the good size. He's got a bit of that Roethlisberger aspect where you can have him wrapped up for a sack, but he's just so big, he's hard to bring down. Just the size of him takes all you can to pull him down on that. And he's playing really comfortably in this offense right now. I think it's going to be a problem this week. And I got to say, man, I'd have a lot more confidence with Kyler. You know my thoughts on Kyler, and you know what I was thinking there. I'd be sitting here licking my chops. I think McDonald solved him in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
What they ended up scoring at the end of that other game was as much just him throwing it up and hoping Marvin would go make a play kind of at the end of a game for the most part a little bit. But it does help you guys out, get you guys some clarity. I think it's also, as bad as it is maybe to have to move off the $50 million man this offseason and Kyler, the nice part is that you're living in an era now in the NFL that's kind of a new dawn, and that the reclamation projects are all across the sport. And why not you guys be that same type of team and looking for that, rather than it having to be, we got to draft a guy and we have to send him for 2 or 3 years and hope he develops, and
right.
Where you'd want to go at this point too?
So it's so weird because I don't think you guys don't have to deal with this. I don't know if you had to deal with it with Russell Wilson, but the stands that come out, for some reason, when you give props over to Jacoby Brissett, for example, they're like, well, he's not the future. Well, obviously, right? No, duh, he's not the future, but he's under contract for 2026. But I would still love the Cardinals to go after a quarterback in the draft, 100%. Yeah, if they are within striking distance, I would love the Cardinals to go after a young quarterback, whether it's Mendoza, Ty Simpson, any of the guys that kind of show promise. I would love the Cardinals. Now obviously it depends on where you're sitting at in the draft, and with Jacoby Brissett, I'm not going to say we're going to go out here and win 10-11 games, but we're going to be in a lot of these games. And the one thing that I really like about Jacoby is just that him and staying in the pocket, there's something to be said about you allowing a play to develop and you're not afraid to get hit. Because that's the thing about Kyler. The moment he felt pressure, and it would probably be 10, 15 feet away, pressure coming his way. And he just panicked. He just kind of get out of the pocket and it just kind of ruined the whole play. Marvin Harrison Jr. is not really good in terms of knowing what he wants. So he's probably going this way, what Kyler wants him to go this way. That's why there was a very, very big safety blanket with Trey McBride, because Trey was always just kind of, let me go in the middle of the zone. I'm right here open for you. I'm your safety blanket. But that's one of the main reasons why you don't see the wide receivers like Zay Jones and Marvin Harrison Jr., as well as Michael Wilson. They really weren't getting involved in this offense. And we're starting to see Jacoby Brissett do that. So, but to answer your question, yeah, I would like the Arizona Cardinals to go and draft the QB for sure.
But you're saying, I guess, more of the heart of the question there for me was that if it's that vet that you're looking to start for in the future of this, is it that your approach is that let's have because I don't think Jacoby Brissett's under contract after this year, is he?
He's to 2026. We got him in,
great.
In full. It was a 2-year deal. We signed him this year.
Okay, so perfect. So you got that guy, and I don't have to ask you about whether or not he's the one you want to roll with. Then going into next year, is if he's already under contract, then right. Why not just go then potentially draft at that point? So it's a good solution for you, because you guys could be caught in that pickle where you could know Kyler's not the right guy and have nothing in house, and then riding all the hopes upon it having to be a drafted guy. And it's like, we might be having to, wait a bit here. And I get that. I think that makes a lot of sense. And I'll say we played Jacoby last year. I think you guys did too. You were running through weren't you running through the Patriots last year? Was May starting by the time you guys played him last year?
I think it might have been. Did we play the Patriots last year? Man, it was such a blur. I don't think we played the Patriots last year. We were 2-5 after, and I don't think the Patriots were one of them. Let me double check, because I don't know why the heck I can't.
Yeah, because I thought we went through the AFC East last year. All of us did.
You might be right. Let me double check. How am I not remembering this?
Yeah, you guys beat them.
And
you won, man.
That whole year pissed me off. So
that's how Mike's traumatized, folks. That's even the wins don't settle in the memory banks anymore.
Right, 100%, man. Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to see, when did we play? We did play them 30-17. Holy crap.
And an easy win.
And it was May. Yeah, it was Drake May. Yeah, we played Drake May.
So we did play Brissett. I think it was in game 2 last year. And he really played a really strong game. I was impressed by what he did. And that, he's, like you, to your point, very tough in the pocket, willing to stand in there, willing to target the middle of the field with some good accuracy. I'll tell you, this is a game that I'm going to be watching for Trey McBride to really, I know he goes off otherwise all the time, but even more so this week, because he worked Hunter Henry in that game, 15 targets or something, did Jacoby in that particular game. So probably going to get more of that game plan I would expect this week in taking on the Hawks. But good development for your Cardinal team with what was kind of getting to be a bit of a depressing year there with the 5 straight losses, and with where the hopes had been coming into this year, where even the pundits were really saying, okay, this year where the third step gets taken at this point.
Right.
And I think it's understandable now why the reasons are. I know we had some outlooks that are different. I think you've kind of understood a little bit more clear why because you were, Cardinal fans got a little bit on me a little bit for some of my outlook on the team of this a little bit. And I always said and came back to it. It wasn't that this team's broken. It's not that I come back to it and say this team's like, well, it's a Jets-like organization, just can't get out of its own way or what. It was just that the things just didn't fully align up, which again, is this not to be negative here, Mike, but to say, well, there's hope here though within this, and that it's a couple of things that didn't quite align up in your decision-making and approach, and Kyler and still trying to reclimate all that. Kick that stuff away, and there's a lot of good here to then build upon.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, a 5-game losing streak. And I know it sounds silly, and I know it sounds silly, but like if you take it away, I mean, like we lost 5 of those games by like less than 13, 14 points. Like we were in every single one of these games. Like the only beatdown I feel like we actually got was to your own Seattle Seahawks, with the exception of the fourth quarter where the Cardinals crawled back. I don't really know if like you guys played soft or we were actually good. I don't know. I was pissed off. I was pretty wasted because I was actually at that game on Thursday Night Football. Yeah, I mean, we were in every single one of these games. We lost by 1 point to the 49ers, 3 by you guys. And like, the Cardinals are in these games. And I feel like you needed this win to kind of show that, hey, we are there. And I know I said this earlier, like, oh, I hate the fact that we're saying that we're close, but it's different when you get a win. You know what I mean? Keep telling me that you're close and keep giving me some wins. But like when you're on a 5-game losing streak as a fan, you don't want to hear you're close, especially in year 3. But yeah, there's a lot of promising things, man. There really is, especially versus the Dallas Cowboys. You saw some things here that you haven't really seen in those other 4 games or the other 5 games. We're playing a little bit more aggressive. I like that. You're sending Budda Baker on blitzes. You're doing a little bit more. You're not depending on the front 4 as much so dependently anymore, at least in this Dallas Cowboys game. And that's probably was their plan, to kind of like obviously rattle Dak Prescott. And it worked. 5 sacks on him, including Walter Nolen. Walter Nolen has himself a day. But yeah, man, overall, it was a good game for the Cardinals. But yeah, the 5 games losing streak, there was some good things to take away. It's just every single one of those games, man, it was the cardiac cards all over again. So
you do wonder, we talked about last week on the roundtable, if you start from day 1 with Brissett, how many more wins do you have, especially considering those close games and how many of them there were?
Well, that
making a difference.
Yeah, I think it does, because the amount of points and the amount of yardage that Jacoby Brissett compared to Kyler Murray is night and day. Like it's easily a touchdown difference in every single game. Like it's not even close. Like we were ranked like up total offense, like around the 28, 29 in those 5 games. And everybody was like, what's happening? What's going on with this offense? But since Jacoby Brissett's played those 3 games, we've easily gone to like 21. And in some stats, I believe it's passing, it's like 19. So like we're trending in the direction that this offense is functioning a lot better with Jacoby Brissett. Like I said, just stay in the pocket, make your reads and throw the ball where the ball needs to go. It's just so weird because they were preaching that so much, but like when you're watching the film, Kyler Murray was missing plays, but you can't really say anything because you're not a fan. But I'm glad. I'm glad that the Arizona Cardinals made the switch.
If it comes down to like, in my opinion, tell me if my outlook's accurate, probably in this, maybe we don't know for sure, but that it was Gannon could not have had the power to be able to put Brissett in as a starter because ownership would have pushed down on him if he did that at the start of the preseason.
That's what it felt like. Yeah, that's what it felt like. The thing is that we signed Jacoby Brissett this last offseason. So you know how fans are, man. Like they go to stats, they go and they look at deep dive and they're like, oh, he's a journeyman. That's all he is, right? Like, so like nobody really thought that we had a guy that was going to contend for a QB1 position. What I knew is that this was the best backup quarterback that we've had since we've had Kyler Murray in 2019. Like this is the best backup quarterback we've had. Like every single year, Monty Ossenford in this regime has done something to bring a quarterback in, whether it was drafting Clayton Tune in the 5th round in 2019, trading for Josh Dobbs. Now, yes, that was because Kyler Murray was hurt in the beginning. I said 2019, I apologize. In 2023, but that was because Kyler Murray had to miss the first half of the game. Got those Josh Dobbs as well as Clayton Tune. Year 2, we ended up trading for Desmond Ridder. Obviously, it didn't work. And then this year, we ended up going after Jacoby Brissett. And I said this the moment we got him, he is the best quarterback. He can win you some games, especially if Kyler needs to miss a game or 2. So we never really thought that this was going to be one of those things where a quarterback competition was actually in place because of everything this regime has done for Kyler. Or I guess not just regime, this organization has coddled Kyler Murray from the moment that we brought him in. There was no real competition out there. You can't say, oh, you have to put Jacoby Brissett if Clayton or if Kyler was struggling. Oh, you're not going to be putting Colt McCoy or on the other kind of scrubs guys that we have. Now we have a real quarterback that shows that this offense can work. And a lot of people that were blaming solely Petzing is now kind of starting to retract it and say, oh, snap, this offense probably can work. So it's tough to answer that question because I don't think any of us really thought that Jacoby truly would have beat him out if there was a real competition. But now, right, going into week 10, in those last 3 weeks, I already knew clear as day that he was the better option.
I wonder myself if that a guy comes in and instantaneously looks significantly better to the tune of a touchdown more for your offensive game, wouldn't also look the case on a practice field in training camp. And I've been a supporter with Gannon on this, even though, again, I've knocked him like hell with the pew-pew and he gets a little weird and stuff. And I don't like him bending the knee to ownership and apologizing on that stuff with the whole thing that happened a couple of weeks ago. But I do think he potentially could be a good coach. And the thing I always come back to on teams that have struggled to kind of get over that mountaintop is that you can usually backtrace it not to like, well, we got bad luck or we just can't get this right. It's the ownership part coming in, and ownership's got to come in at just the select moments, not at all times, but just at those key moments when you need the strong ownership group. And that's kind of one of those moments to me that's a bit of a representation for where your guys' struggle have come from, historically speaking, because I don't think all owners would do that. I don't think our owner would do that to John Schneider and to Mike McDonald, for instance. I don't think at all.
I wish Bidwell wasn't like that. Because you're probably right on the head. I do believe Michael Bidwell sometimes is a little too involved, and it is for the money reason. You pay Kyler Murray, you extended him a few years back, and you have him signed until 2028, 2029. And there is, if I'm going to be real with you, I'm pretty sure when JG and Monty and his staff came in, I'm almost 110% positive, if not 95. I'll give the 5% that Bidwell said, if we hire you, you have to make it work with Kyler. You have to make it work with Kyler. We made this happen. You have to make it work with Kyler. And that's probably one of the not main reasons, but a little bit of a reason as to why Sean Payton probably didn't want to come here. Now, of course, we weren't able to pay him what Wally World was, right? With the Denver Broncos paid him a crazy amount of money to be their head coach. But I'm pretty sure that's what it kind of came down to. You have to make it work with Kyler. And Cardinals tried it. And it just didn't really work. So now we're here. So it's a long time coming. It sucks, but I love the result that we're here right now. So
yeah, get to the right move eventually. And just, I think it's also though that owner's got to stand back eventually and own up onto some of what he's done through the years, I think, and having that heavy hand, and that it's not worked in the Cardinals' favor and been to their benefit that he's done that. In this case, being another representation. You stayed out the hell out of Gannon's way and let him roll.
Yeah.
It's a better route. Let the professionals do the job. You're not the professional. And as we see the guys like Jerry Jones, they start thinking, well, I'm rich, so it makes me real football smart too.
Right.
Maybe not, Jerry. Maybe not so much on that. A couple of donations here. Jeffrey Thistle, thank you for the $5 dono. Not playing the Cowboys anymore, bro. We play defense around here. Time for the Cardinals to get spanked. Wish we were playing Kyler. It'd be easier. Yeah, we know what's up here.
They do.
Seahawks fans know what's up.
I mean, we also did play the Packers, which arguably has a really good defense as well. And we did pretty well against them as well. So, and I'm not I know you guys are different, and it's different with divisions. We know each other like the back of our hand. And you guys had our number, but I mean, I'm confident, man. I'm confident.
I think it's going to be a tough game. I don't think that we just necessarily run away with it. Where were my predictions? I'm going to definitely predict a win with it being at home and how we've got 6 to 7 wins and we're going. But I think that this changes the nature of this game with Jacoby, and that he's going to provide some functional drives for you guys in this game. And then it comes down to the defense playing as well as you guys kind of are right now to the other side of that. Well, then that can be a prerequisite for a potential loss on those two factors coming in. And last year he had the ball moving pretty decently with the New England Patriot team that did not have quite the offensive talent. Not the Cardinals are bursting at the seams with offensive talent, but still better than where the Patriots were, last year. So I think that there's something there to be a little bit concerned with. I do think our defense is playing some really good football and we're fairly well healthy on that side of it. But I'm expecting this thing to be probably a pretty tight game. You as well?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, here's the thing, right? Division, I think it's going to be a tight game. Regardless. I mean, you can be a team that's going deep into the playoffs. And I've seen it before, like even in the Josh Rosen days when the Cardinals like swept the heck out of the 49ers when we had no business sweeping them. So like, it just kind of goes to show like, you never know. I think this is going to be a close game, but definitely a lot more competitive than the first time we met. For sure. Now, you guys could have ran away with that game. Like, it probably shouldn't have been as close as it was. There was a couple of flags that kind of came to our favor that had some touchdowns come back. So I think this is going to be more competitive. Like, the Cardinals only really got going at like the fourth quarter. Like, it's just like we didn't have more than 100 yards until the fourth quarter hit. And like I said, I remember very vividly because my vision was fuzzy, but I was in the stadium and I was so pissed off, man. Like how bad the offense was looking. So yeah, I do think it's going to be a close game.
Yeah, it'll be bad. And these division ones, this is the way it goes all across the sport. You can see just, you think you're this better, but the familiarity and knowing what's coming, and it sort of levels the playing field a little bit on this. And again, you guys aren't playing bad football at all right now in addition to this. So it all kind of comes together on that, I think, on this one. Jeffrey with another $2 donation. Thank you, Jeffrey. He says, release the toddler.
Yeah. I mean, it's happening, guys, right in front of our very eyes. I know I've been covering this all week long, and even since Jacoby's taking the helm, nobody's believed in the reports and how weird and sneaky the Cardinals tried to do it. But I kind of saw and read between the lines. This is not that it was inevitable, but like eventually, especially when you have the national eyes on the game, right? Like the only game on football, everybody, this is the only you could watch. You can't deny what you saw on Monday, that offense was running so much better with Jacoby than Kyler.
Yeah, it is a 9-day difference. It really is. I mean, one touchdown doesn't even represent kind of how you can just feel everything's on time, and there's throws. And I mean, it stuck out where we were joking about this on the stream, and I think rightfully so. Jesse was joking about the fact that, the fans are going, they're running this way different offense with the other guy. And he's like, yeah, it's the same thing that they say to me. And I think Jesse's right in that they're not running a different offense for Mac. But then you actually had confirmation in a press conference from the Cardinals saying, yeah, no, we're running different plays for Jacoby Brissett than we did for Kyler. We're running more of the totality of our offense, which is pretty mind blowing and should not be getting as much pushback to you from Cardinal fans then, if that's the case, right? Because they're telling us right there that we have to call this different game for our $200 million man.
Yeah, no, yeah. And here's the thing too. Like, I mean, I guess I interpreted it a little different myself because, like, he did say that, but he says that every single week, it's kind of like a different game plan to approach. Maybe the tweak was we're actually throwing the ball more than we're actually running it, because the run was so darn heavy. Even if we had somebody that was like averaging like 2 yards, 3 yards a carry, like it was just so. Like it was run heavy. And even when we were behind the chains, we were so depending on one of our running backs to break free on a 3rd and 19 or a 3rd and 17, just hoping and praying. So I guess in the sense of, do they not trust Kyler as much as they trust Jacoby? I guess we can kind of go that route. But I mean, the plays that I'm seeing Jacoby Brissett, like actually, there's nothing special that Jacoby Brissett is doing compared to what Kyler Murray is doing. So I guess if we were to say, was there more or less runs now with Jacoby? Yeah, probably. But like, I was watching the film with Kyler, and the plays were there to be made. It's just Kyler Murray was just checking the damn ball down every second he could. Like, that's all he's been doing. And it's not even just this year. He's been doing that all last year. That's what's made me super upset with Kyler Murray, is just that gets spooked really quickly. So, I mean, it's so hard to answer the question because I don't believe that truly, like, it's night and day different, or like this big difference of it. All I can say right now is, do they trust Jacoby more? It's obvious that they do. Are they calling more run plays, or pass plays? They are. So I guess if you want to call that a different game plan, I guess. But like, I don't know. I'm not seeing anything different myself. I think Jacoby's just better.
Yeah. Well, it could be like just target in the middle of the field where Kyler just wasn't too, because that's what stands out is those in-cutting routes are just all over the place in your offense now, and they were absent from the offense prior, where Kyler's making none of those kind of throws. It doesn't seem like it's got to all be outside the numbers a little bit, or comeback routes or checkdowns.
Yeah, 100%.
Concierge with Nolen, thank you for the $5 donation. Nolen says, slip this 5 to Gannon and see if we can drive him into starting the Oompa Loompa.
Dang, they're coming to full force right now.
Get him, Charles. Get him. Whoa, get him.
They're done with him, right? At least as of right now, 4 to 6 weeks, he's going to be injured. Here's the weird thing, guys. They don't want to put him on IR. They don't want to put him on IR. They do not want to.
He's got the Jacoby-itis right now. He ain't dealing with some legit injury. He's just over there like, look, we're gonna not shade you here, so we're gonna call it this. You just sit on the bench and shut your ass up.
Right. 100%. And that's why I'm telling people there's something shady going on. 2 weeks ago, I was talking about, they're like, oh no, he's the guy. JG said if he's healthy, he's gonna play. I'm like, bro, like he ain't gonna be healthy then ever.
Yeah, no, I guarantee you that he could play right now if he had to. If Brissett had doing what he's doing right now, his ass would be out there real quick. No doubt about it. You watch how healthy he gets if Brissett gets an injury suddenly. Oh, he's all good now.
Oh God, I don't even wish that upon me, man.
Oh Lordy. Oh, hopefully not. I mean, that's the tough part of Jacoby. He stands so tough in that pocket, but he's tough. He's a hard guy to.
He is, man.
He's so big and he's a big bad. I love it, Nolen. Great dono. Thank you for that, man. Bronze Sausage with a $5 donation. Thank you for that, Bronze. I like you, Mike. I'm sorry the Cardinals are struggling so far. With that being said, I got the Hawks 31-13. Wow. I'd rather play Kyler. TBH. Regardless, go Hawks. Seahawks fans feeling confident. We had a good trade deadline deal. We got 6 or 7 in a row, Mike. You got to understand they're going to be feeling themselves.
No, I get it. I'm not offended by any stretch of the imagination. I 100% get it. You guys have been beating the living hell out of us for a very, very long time. So keep that energy going. I mean, all I gotta say right now is that I do have confidence that this offense can be very good. I'm not saying we're gonna win, but like I'm just excited to see what Jacoby Brissett can do against your defense. We had a really good defense to play against in the Packers. We did pretty solid. The defense for Colts were the middle of the line. They're like nothing special about them, but like every one of these games, man, we were in them and we could have won in that last drive. It's just we needed to learn to win with Jacoby, and I think we finally got it. And the defense woke up too. Let's be real. The defense had themselves a freaking game versus Dak Prescott. They harassed him. So
it's true. And maybe let's turn a little bit to some of the positivity there. I see, Sean, we got a dono from you too. I think we'll get to you in just a sec on that. I do think the defense is very, very impressive. It seems like on the outside looking in that some of the corner injury situations got a little bit better. Johnson's back out there. We're okay there. I think Melton was a late scratch this last Monday night. Is that right?
He was there. He got hurt during the game. He went down with a concussion. So we're depending on Denzel Burke, which I believe is a 4th or 5th round pick this year. And he got the interception on Dak, which is the ball that he just threw kind of a Hail Mary up in the air, and he was just kind of there to catch it. So Denzel Burke kind of got that last interception for us.
Yeah. And so probably Denzel with the shortened week, the concussion protocol thing on a short week is kind of hard to get to the other side of that. So you probably still have Burke out there, but Johnson's been still playing really well.
Yeah, he's been solid, man. Very solid. He was doing pretty good. Like I'm saying, we held this offense. I think CeeDee Lamb, like going into the half, of course, it kind of got a little sticky in the second half, mainly in the fourth quarter, late into the third quarter as well. But for the most part, we held CeeDee and Pickens to like 28, 29 yards each. Like we were doing solid. Ferguson was very, he didn't do anything. We forced a fumble on him. Javonte Williams was a very good running back this year. He didn't score a touchdown on us. We forced a fumble on him. Pickens could have coughed up a fumble as well. We just unfortunately couldn't recover it. But yeah, no, our quarterbacks have been standing tall. Will Johnson, rookie. And I'm going to be real, like Max Melton might have been the weakest link, including our rookie. So like seeing Denzel Burke, I don't think it's a big drop off. I think Max Melton is obviously our like top 3 cornerbacks, at least to the eyes of this coaching staff, but I'm kind of excited to see what Denzel Burke could do, if I'm going to be real with you, because whenever you see a big play, it's always on the side of Max Melton. So it's not that I'm out on him. It's just that I think he still needs to kind of develop a little bit more. So, and like, I'm not saying Denzel Burke is better. I'm just saying, I expect, especially with your second round tenure, like I want him to be a little bit better than we're actually showing, but yeah, most likely it'll be Denzel.
I think that's fair. I think that's totally fair with one that from that kind of pick. You want a starter in the first, second round. That's you want those guys ready to roll. So it's with Burke and Johnson, then you got 2 rookies starting, right? At the same time?
Yeah, essentially. Yep. Garrett Williams and the 2 rookies. Yep.
There we go. And then Williams is back. Garrett Williams out of the slot, one of the better slots in the league.
Yeah. Yep. Garrett Williams had himself a game. Forcing some fumbles as well. He was doing well, man. He really was. I don't think he was there when we played against you guys. What you guys played on week? Was it week 4? Yeah, I think it was week 4. I don't think he was there, if I'm not mistaken.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't there.
No, he wasn't, right?
Yeah, he was out. Yeah.
No, yeah, Garrett Williams is our best cornerback on this roster for sure. And then Will Johnson has been doing very well for a rookie, and probably even better than just a rookie. So yeah, Garrett Williams is a go. He's good.
And then as we get along on a little bit of this defensive line, it does look like maybe Mac Wilson will be out this week, maybe.
It seems like it. Yeah, he left the game with a rib injury. So that is a little scarce when it comes down to the middle linebacker, because Mac Wilson Sr. was the dude in the middle for us. Like that's who he was. We're leaning on probably another rookie in Cody Simon, and then Akeem Davis-Gaither, which is a guy that we just got from Cincinnati in this last free agency pool. So right now it's not for certain that he's out or he's probably going to miss. Probably trending that way. But they're very secretive when it comes down to injuries, like very secretive when it comes to injuries. So we'll see. B.J. Ojulari, he finally got the 21-day window open this last week. Obviously, he missed this week. I don't expect him maybe versus the 49ers game is probably when we're going to actually see him. So, but I think our edges have been solid. Josh Sweat, Baron Browning, Zaven Collins, kind of the rotational guys. But yeah, they've been doing pretty solid. But obviously, Josh Sweat is our number one dude.
Josh Sweat's your big free agent acquisition this offseason. I think he had 2 sacks on Monday night, and he has been, every time I turn on the Cardinals game, watch him this year, and got to watch a lot for the round table for it. And he's been showing up. He pops on that defense quite a bit in both the run and against the pass.
Yeah, he's as advertised, man. Like I think, what is he at, 7 sacks right now? And then I think our sack leader last year was 5 sacks with Zaven Collins. So like he's trending to go into the double digits. He's just so impactful, man. It's been a long time since we had a guy like him. It's like the last time we had it was freaking Chandler Jones, and that was a bit ago. So yeah, he's doing really well for us.
Don't know about the dropping him into spot drop space 20, 30 yards down the field. That's sometimes a little bit weird to watch, but
it is. Yeah, the way that the formations work sometimes, it almost kind of seems like they got the big boys right into the threes, and then they peel off the outside linebackers. Because I've even seen Baron Browning kind of go into coverage as well. I don't like that. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it, but I have seen it more than I would like to.
Like if they go to the flat, you're okay with it. Like, okay, the flat's good. Just they got to go 5 yards over. I get that, but like when you got him, we got him last time. Remember we had Arroyo go down the field, and Sam saw Josh on him, and he's just like, just throw it up to him. He's not going to turn back for the ball. And Josh didn't, which I wouldn't expect him to. He's at the end 30 yards down the field trying to cover a tight end.
Right.
And that's a tough pull. Calais is still ripping and roaring. Seems like every time I watch him, he's still solid. The ageless one still just continues to motor along, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's just I love it. We were worried a little bit about this trade deadline because Calais is the one that we were kind of worried about. Oh man, he's still doing it. But he made it very, very obvious that he wants to stay here. We drafted him. I think he wants to retire as a Cardinal, and he's going out with the bang, man. And most likely will be his last year. But he's going out with the bang. He's still doing it at a very high level at his age. But it's so cool because we're seeing a rotational of the guys that we have that we ended up bringing in. Darius Robinson in his year 2 hasn't been the greatest, but pretty solid piece. Dalvin Tomlinson, Dante Stills, I believe a 4th round pick in 2023. He's a pretty solid player for us as well, specifically rotational. And we're starting to see an uptick from this week to most likely next week. We're going to see a little bit more of Walter Nolen, 16th overall pick.
Well, let's get into Walter Nolen here in a sec. With Robinson, is he at least good against the run right now? Is he at least developed in that way to give you that as a baseline?
I don't know what he is, to be real with you. He's almost kind of just taking up space. And I don't want to be like mean or like that, but like there was so much high praise for Robinson because they were supposed to move him everywhere. The wide 9, the inside. They were supposed to do everything with him, but he almost kind of feels like he's so lost sometimes. And he's got such a big frame and big body. You don't expect him to get punked and bullied the way he kind of does when you're watching the film. It's like they'll do this and he'll kind of like flimsy it out. It's so weird, man. Like with one game alone with Walter Nolen, I'm like, just give him the damn reps. Like at this point, like I'm kind of over Darius, but they're going to keep trying to develop him. And I guess that's cool at the end of the day. But honestly, I don't know what he's good at. He's supposed to be good at rushing the passer. He's supposed to be good at stopping the run. He ain't really good at not very much right now. He's still developing. Let's just leave it at that. Well, he's still developing.
That's fair enough. And there's still time. He's a pretty young kid coming out. So you never know when that kind of light bulb will come on for those guys. And edge takes a while to figure out. Hand usage, getting your pass rush moves, all that stuff. It does take a little bit of time. Well, let's go to Walter Nolen for folks. This is a pretty hotly debated topic between me and Mike on the roundtable, and Jesse on that. I'm sure it's going to come up again tonight. And that is that Walter Nolen was one of my probably least favorite first round picks. And before we get over to asking about him and talk about him, we got to clarity here because Mike's posting up. I'd like, apologies. You apologies for that take on Nolen. So let's really kind of expand this one out a little bit on Nolen and remembering why I didn't like him with it. Because why I didn't like him wasn't about talent, right? It wasn't that I didn't see that he was talented. That wasn't the problem. The problem for me was that I was worried about the hot and cold nature of his engine. He can give you great games. He can give you a game like last night, which it is a good game. 3 tackles and a sack and tackle for loss and a knockdown ball. It's also not like he just lit the world on fire. And a part of that also probably should be taken into account too, that Cowboys are behind in that game. They're pass happy. You're pinning your ears back at that point. It gets harder to pass protect in those situations. See my Seahawks team last year for proof of that. But the issue here with him for me is going to be not that he can't give you the great moments. It's that I don't believe that engine is going to stay hot at all times and that there's going to be those moments you have him going quiet. So for instance, it's a motivation thing for me. I've been out all year. I haven't played a single game. I'm now getting to play my first game of the year. Motivation level probably pretty high at that point, right? And so I might be wrong or off on the defensive line. I'll get your thoughts on this.
Yep.
I just want to make sure we're clarifying and we're as we like to call him, steel man my opposition. So what does the opposition really feel about this guy and what he said specifically, and then what is the nature of it? And let me give you a reference on this just really quick. I know I'm long-winded on this, but it's like the Jalen Carter thing from a couple of years ago where fans will come back to me and go, so you should have gone with Jalen Carter instead of Witherspoon. I go, well, no, it was the character concerns with him. This is different from Nolen, but it's that those character concerns can come and rear their ugly head in the worst of ways at any given time. And you might get a little bit of the brightness here that suddenly pitters out down the road once he thinks the hay's in the barn, he's made his money and he's good to go. And that's just a little bit of almost like it's a different type of player, Nolen. I'm not saying he's got any of the character concerns. It's a completely different thing. But that's where my assessment was with Nolen and why I reached that point with him. Not that there wasn't the talent there, but just that I'm not sure he's going to be 100% motivated all the time. That's
fair. I mean, it's hard to – the way the Cardinals do things is like they sorry, I'm getting over this.
Oh, you're good, man. I've been running nose all day long. So it's just been like, I've been making my people hear that sound twice. And they're like, shut up.
Seriously. There's usually damn sure mics catch everything too.
Oh, they do. There's no, you can't even lean over. It makes it sound louder somehow when you lean a foot away. It's like you're leaning into the mic.
I heard that. Yeah. I mean, with the whole Walter Nolen situation, the only reason I kind of came up because obviously when we're in the NFC West, we like to kind of talk SHIT with each other. That's just what we do. We're all kind of at to the point where we can kind of say, oh, you missed out there. But I mean, with Walter Nolen, I didn't really. Here's the thing too. I know Jesse did a lot more studying on him than I did. I'm just kind of jumping on him. I'm like, hell yeah, he's mine. Let's go. He's working out because I didn't honestly evaluate him. I was really going super hard in the edges because I was really thinking the Arizona Cardinals was going to benefit from getting an edge player in the first round. I didn't think we were going to get an interior guy, especially when we just came off and getting Darius Robinson. I was like, okay, well, the Cardinals won't do it. So I kind of didn't do my homework when it come down to college and actually do a deep dive into it. Of course, when we drafted him, I did a little bit of right there, here and there, but I didn't really see anything. The moment we brought him in, there was a little bit of a concern when it came down to the trajectory of how Darius Robinson's career kind of unfolded. He didn't come back to the last 5 or 6 games of the season, and everybody's like, oh boy, another middle defensive lineman. He's landing the same thing. But we have some mentors on this defensive line, whether it's Dalvin Tomlinson or how Calais Campbell. I don't know if this year we will see that type of if it is one of those things where he just kind of stays unmotivated, or he kind of has hot and cold type of games. And I don't think he's going to be wreaking havoc every single game. Of course, I think we did benefit from the whole Dallas Cowboys thing, but I don't think we're not used to a rookie in the very first game showing out the way that he did. And he outsnapped Darius Robinson for what it's worth. And I know some people might not think that's too big of a deal, but Darius Robinson was 36% of the snaps while Walter Nolen was 55. So there is obviously a big discrepancy between, oh snap, what you did is kind of leaps and bounds better than the second year guy that's still developing right now. But he kind of outshined and outperformed and kind of out everything that our expectations were going to be, because believe it or not, we were kind of putting him in the bucket of Darius Robinson, which is kind of unfair, but you know how it is as a fandom. Like you're like, oh crap, here we go again. But no, he did well, man. Like the batted ball down. I think he had like 2 or 3 tackle for loss, 4 tackles and a sack. And I was rewatching the film because between my shows and I had to do a couple different things. So I was kind of trying to break down some film and like kind of so I can make a video for tomorrow about Walter Nolen. And I saw a lot of impact that he was doing that didn't show up on the stat sheet. Like they were doubling him so dang much. And it's just so crazy because a rookie going into his, game 1, you don't really expect that type of treatment. But like, I kid you not, like the burst off the line is so damn awesome. And just the motor that he plays with. And sometimes he kind of gets a little too much. Like I've seen a couple different times where he's like going this way and the play goes that way. Of course, you're split second decision and plays go quick. So I don't really fault him to that. But like he's playing very well, like very, very well. Now, of course, I'm excited to see what he's going to do against the Seattle Seahawks, especially with your guys' offense compared to theirs. But I think overall he did well. I can't really speak to the whole motor or if he's going to be hot and cold or not, just because, like I said, we only saw the 1 game sample size. But hearing him and listening to him, he seems to be that guy that we need him to be. And it was supposed to be the Darius Robinson role, but right now it's Walter Nolen. So it's kind of hard to assess, especially with 1 game film that we have on him. But no, man, he's as advertised, bro. I'm excited about 16th overall pick. I think it's probably one of the best. But like I said, it's 1 game. I don't want to get too excited, but he looks good. Very good.
Well, if he's motivated, he's got the talent. I will say that on it. So if he is motivated, you definitely can see the talent in the vape when it does pop for him. There's no doubt about that. Thank you, Sean McLeod, for a $2 donation. He says Jacoby Brissett or Jacoby Brisket, as he said, almost got smoked last year in New England. I see what you did there, Sean. I dig that. And yeah, that was, I think that's going to be the part of this game where I go, Jacoby's going to execute your offense better than Kyler. You're going to get more points than if Kyler was in there. This is not going to be a Cardinal team that's going to have less than 100 yards by the time we get to the 4th quarter. The place where I think we can make this tough is that I think that we can create pressure on that Arizona Cardinal offensive line. And the part with Jacoby is he's not the most nimbly-pimbly of cats in the best of times. He's got some underrated mobility in that he can fall forward and drag guys, and he's got a bit of that size part, but he's not quick. And we've had some quarterbacks in recent weeks that have been able to get away with, having some good pocket mobility. And even with that, we're still getting sacks. We're still getting quarterback hits. We're still getting the pressure there. That'll be kind of one of the interesting real parts for me, because we did last year in New England, despite him having some drives and moving, because he's, to your point, on the toughness and taking the hits and still keep it going, is, can we get to him enough on that? Can we force a bit of the game-changing play on that? Or can he just kind of ride through that storm and keep throwing those dots all over the field and be able to, keep the ball moving?
Well, our offensive line is not the best, primarily that right side. There's a reason why you see 2 right tackles. You see Jonah Williams and you see Kelvin Beachum back there, and they're still getting cooked up. He is being harassed, man. He is, especially with Micah Parsons and even Dante Fowler, which was hurt in that game. And every time he hit Jacoby, he came up grimacing. Like, I kind of felt bad for Fowler, but like they didn't really have anybody else to cause the pressure that, they were trying to do to not allow him to throw the ball down the field. But like Jacoby's taking some punishment, like already in 3 games. Like our offensive line isn't a tribute as to why Kyler Murray has not really worked out too. But also, like, you can't come here and sit here and tell me that Jacoby Brissett isn't like functioning in this a lot better. But yeah, he's getting abused back there, man, for sure.
It'll be one of those keys on how you guys are able to, do that. And especially depending on where, the run game's at. What right now, it's Bam Knight's kind of the de facto starter with Amari coming in, right? Kind of that's the split on it, or is Amari the starter and Bam the?
That's what I thought. This last week or yesterday, it was actually Amari DiMercato that was actually leading it. So I don't know what they're doing. Maybe they're trying, like, who's going to give us the best option, the type of different players. I think they're probably going to alternate is what it kind of seems like, because Bam Knight was supposed to, and he did it the week prior before the bye week. And then in this week, it was more Amari DiMercato. So I don't really know. And I did see something in the chat here asking about, like, why didn't we trade for anybody in the run game? Your guess is as good as mine. I mean, the only thing I can think of is that Benson might be eligible to come back, but they still need to open up his 21-day window open. And we have seen them open it, and then they played the next week. But I don't know. I mean, I don't think Benson's coming, but I mean, it's still early in the week. We'll have to wait and see.
And probably if you guys were on the other side of this record, if you were at a 5-3 right now, Brees Hall's probably an Arizona Cardinal today. And that's probably, if being in the 3 versus 3 and 5, that's just the big difference on that one. It's like, why make that kind of move for something that we're not in the mode to do, which you can kind of get from their perspective. Do you feel a little bit of, because you guys are down the 2 backs with Connor and it being both Trey Benson, do you feel a lesser amount of talent from these third guys there? Or is it like, I don't feel that much of a drop off going to the third from Benson?
Benson's shown some flashes of some big runs that he rips off, but honestly, I haven't seen that running back that I thought we were going to see. Now, of course, he was overshadowed last year when we drafted him by James Conner. Of course, he was our number 1 guy. James Conner goes down early. He got 1 game to really show that, okay, you're that number 1 guy for us, and he got hurt. So it's like every chance he kind of gets an opportunity, he's getting hurt. So I don't know. It almost kind of makes me feel like there's not a big drop off. I want to be wrong. I really do. But I mean, I think Benson right now is probably the best running back, if healthy, among all the guys that we have. But it's just kind of based off of draft and what he did in college, right? Because you don't really have a lot to go based off in the pros. Because all I can remember is him getting hurt. Like I said, he's had some big runs that he's taken for 30 plus yards, 40 plus yards, and they looked really good. It's just, can he stay healthy? Can he do that consistently? And right now we haven't been able to see that. So it's tough. I don't know. I mean, of course I would be a lot more confident with Benson, but I don't know. I don't know where he's at right now.
That's fair enough. Justin JJ, thank you for the $2 donation. Jackson Smith and Jigba, Shaheed, Cup, Horton, run game advantage. Well, definitely, you would think that eventually, and Mike, this is something that I've seen every week this year so far, is that we're getting these just stack boxes and blitzes, heavy rates. And it's all in the back of our heavy use of 2 tight ends, 3 tight ends, our heavy use. But there's a lot of teams that like using having 2 tight ends, 3 tight ends. They don't get the stack boxes we get. And it is those condensed splits of our wide receivers, which just furthers this. Every team keeps pulling out the same page against us and then challenging us to beat them on the back end. Got to start to think that eventually one of these teams is going to start to, especially now bringing in a Shaheed that's a burner, that you're going to leave 1-on-1 on the outside so you can stack up the box. Is that what you want to do? You trust your corner out there to be able to run with this guy? I got to feel like eventually teams are going to start to pull this back a little bit and start to play more straight up against us, because it's impacting our running game. That's why our running game isn't being as effective, is because there's too many bodies down there.
Okay. Well, that's fair. I mean, every week is so different to kind of obviously see how they're going to attack a specific team. I would imagine that stack boxes would be something that we would do to try to stop your run, because, you burnt us with Charbonnet last year as well, when we thought, oh, we had good, like, Kenneth Walker's not playing Charbonnet, but then Charbonnet comes up and rips it off on us last year. We haven't really seen a lot of stack boxes with the Cardinals, to be real with you. Like, they depend a lot on the front 4 guys to get back there. And I do believe that's why kind of like Cardinal fans get a little frustrated, because it's like, oh man, like, especially in like the end of the second quarter or like in the last drives, the Cardinals play so conservative that it's so easy for a quarterback to dink and dunk, right? Dink and dunk to kind of get to your field goal range and kill us that way. This last game we saw a little different, and that's why I was saying that it was a little bit more of a, I guess, aggressive approach, because we saw Budda Baker actually be used on blitzes and all these kind of different things. So it was kind of cool to see that. But I don't know. We don't really do stack boxes very much. So I'm actually now kind of curious to figure out what the Arizona Cardinals are going to do. I'm going to keep my eye on that.
On the monitor, man. Your Cardinals did do it against us a pretty good amount, even in that first matchup. But again, this has been every opponent. And I just kind of feel like it's what they're seeing is the condensed splits along with the heavy personnel, and that there seems this one size fits all sort of strategic pull that every defense goes to, where you go, well, you automatically just stack boxes on them with that. That's how you counter that. And that they're not really taking into account what we're doing from a passing offensive standpoint, Mike, and how effective it is, because you're leaving so much green grass in the back end open up to hit it down the field. And I'm kind of waiting. And I think once it happens, the run game will start to open up for us, because it has been, and I literally say we're number 1 team at stack box in the NFL. Number 1.
Oh, damn. Really?
Throughout from first game through this game, and by like usually a good like 5 to 6% difference from the second place team.
Wow.
So not only number 1, but at that rate, and then a top 4 blitz rate team off the back of that. So stacking up, and then oftentimes bringing the heat off the back end of it. And that's why is Jackson having the pace he's at, is that if you do that, you can't double him now.
Right.
One thing I'll give your Cardinals credit is that at least in that first half, why didn't Jackson have any catches really in that first half? Because and they showed the shots in the telecast, you were rolling and bracketing the coverage his way. but these teams aren't committing to doing that. They're staying with just 1-1-1 with him on the outside. And then we got a great corner. He can do it. And it's been kind of wild to watch that in an NFL that there's always adjustments. There's always, like you said, week to week, you're doing different things. You're not kind of seeing it here against our offense, oddly enough.
I do remember now that we did actually do pretty solid with JSN, and then he kind of ripped a few good ones on us in the second.
You stopped doubling him.
Yeah.
And take the final drive. Those catches, think about that last final drive, the back shoulder throw. Was there safety help there?
Oh, man,
no.
I remember that.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, it was working. Why go away from it? Our offense wasn't exactly like completely tearing things up. Yes, we had the lead in that, but it was like, it was a fairly good defensive battle to a degree on that. So weird that they went away from it in the second half, because then Jackson went off. That's where he got the 75 yards receiving in that second half. And now suddenly, like, bingo bango, we're able to kind of find some room here.
And see, and that's crazy. Like that game right there was a perfect example of like just what this Cardinals defense can do if they just put it all together. And that was kind of early on in the season. That was week 4. So like, I'm excited about this matchup, man. I really am. I think the Cardinals are I'm hoping, man.
It's gonna be tough, man. Hey, we barely carved out 16 points against a defense that was much less mortal than the one you're trotting out this next week last year. Yeah. So obviously different quarterback, different situations, different offense, but I think this is going to be a very competitive game. Come back to NFC West battle, just the way that the nature of this beast kind of tends to work. You're going to have to fight your ass off to get the dubs in this division, no matter what. Especially this division. My God, we're not only the best division in football. We might be like kind of a far and the way best division in football thing. It might be actually kind of significant a little bit.
Yeah, well, we're starting to kind of now show up now, and I'm excited about it. So.
Yeah, maybe we'll end up with maybe everybody ends up with a winning record in this division when it's all said and done. You never know with the way it's going. You guys are only 2 games out for 500. It's the last place team, so it's like, crazier things have happened. Janeth Kumar, thank you for the $2 donation, Janeth. He says, he asks Mike, is Paris Johnson a bust?
No, not at all. No, I mean, I don't think he's a Pro Bowler. I mean, it all depends. Obviously, the whole Pro Bowl situation, it all kind of just favoritism, or it's whatever, it's popularity, and Cardinals don't get a lot of. No, I think he's solid. I think he's a really good bookend for us. I think our offensive line isn't very great, especially on that right side, but he holds it down for the most part on the left-hand side of the line. I wouldn't call him a bust one bit.
Okay. Yeah. Are you guys still rocking Evan Brown at left guard?
Oh, we are. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Evan Brown.
Hold on. I got something. Wait, hold on.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Yeah. Evan Brown's still there. We don't really have anything better, to be real with you. We had Isaiah Adams, which is a 3rd round pick last year, and he had his opportunity before Hernandez came back, and he kind of was getting cooked.
I don't like Isaiah. I told you that last year. I didn't like Isaiah. That was one from you guys in that draft. There's guys that like that draft class. It's just that was one that was like, I like the investment, but that's too early for him there. I thought just a little bit.
There was a lot of reaches in that 3rd round. I feel like Cardinals had 4 3rd-round picks, and a lot of them didn't really work out. It's just, it's been brutal.
Yeah, I at least like that the Cardinals do put the investment in the offensive line. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but just at least put the investment, the onus into it a bit, and don't just expect Kyler to run around there when he was the guy to save the day for us. We did that with Russell, kind of like, we'll go super light in the offensive line, and Russell will save the day with his cape by pirouetting and spinning around and going every which different direction. It's like, I don't know on that. Let's give a thank you to the sponsor of the show. And this sponsor is one that affects both me and Mike at the same time. I'm going to have you off screen for a second here, Mike, but we'll bring you right back, my man. And that is going to be Sleeper, the Sleeper app, sponsored here with both me and Mike. Mike, what code do you got on your side?
AZSF.
AZSF is Mike's code. My code is NEST, and if you use either of our codes, you can get matched up to 100% of your first deposit, up to $100. So $100 from me or Mike to you using our code, and that's just on the first match of 100%. They also have a $20 freebie right now. Just create a login. They will put $20 into your account with a login. You can see here I was able to take advantage of this last Monday night contest with a nice little pick, Mike. I did pretty good. I had Harrison over 58.5. I had Brissett over 2,245, and I had Pickens over 64.5, and that paid off for me. You can get paid off as well with your over or unders. Go use our code today. Terms and conditions do apply. Please do see their sites for details. Nice little app, that app. Get in the daily fantasy, get the weekly fantasy, baseball, basketball, football, combined sports, overs, unders. I love the over unders myself, Mike. I always feel I'm in the best ground in that territory of it. But please do utilize Sleeper today. Is We love getting the sponsors here and keep those things a cooking and a rolling. Give me a grade from an outsider perspective on the Seahawks Rashid trade today from a Cardinal fan looking out in
B+.
Okay.
I think it's a solid pickup. I really do. I mean, Rashid Shaheed, I know Jesse ended up saying that if he goes to the Rams, I'll watch out. But I mean, there's definitely something to be said about going to you guys as well. Because I mean, you got JSN, which don't tell freaking Jake, but arguably the best wide receiver in the NFC West. I mean, he's Puka, top 3 player in the league. But you had a guy
like a tight end and a receiver and a running back.
Jake. But yeah, Rashid Shaheed's a good player, man. He just was unfortunate. He's to the Saints. He doesn't get a lot of playing time. He could take the top off the field. He's a playmaker. He's a good player, man. I would definitely say a B+. Borderline A. I'm just gonna go with B+. I don't want to get too excited for y'all, but yeah, he's a good player.
Hey, I'll take a B+ all day at the trade deadline, man. So, I'm happy with it. Is there any other major injuries or anything that's maybe impacting right now your Cardinal team as we come into this game?
The only one that I'm really worried about is probably the Mack Wilson Sr. Everything else seems to be kind of trending in the direction that we should be good. We came out fairly healthy out of this game. Max Melton. It feels like Max Melton probably will be out. He was in concussion protocol. We'll see. You never know, right? We have a game in 5 days now, so you never know. But I think Mack Wilson Sr. and probably Max Melton probably be the ones that are I'm really worried about.
Pretty good health for what we're at in the season, though. That's all you're really dealing with on that. I mean, we were down the running backs too, but I mean, aside from that, pretty good health offensively to the other side of that as well. So, unfortunately, we are going to get a pretty strong Cardinal team, a defense that has only gotten more stronger and healthier since we last played them. I think that's going to make this even a tougher matchup for us on this one, Mike. How do you see this game playing out? And give me a kind of final record on that.
I think it's going to be. It's so tough to predict these type of games. I see it's like a 20 to 23 type of game, like a game that we might have a defensive scoring. Something like that. I think this game's going to come down to which defense steps up the best. Even if they score a turnover, something like that. But I see the end result 23-20, something like that. It's going to be a close game. That's the way the Cardinals have been doing it all year long. They've been staying in every single game, even if they lost. I see a 23-20 type of game. I really do.
And who's winning?
Cardinals, baby, Cardinals.
Oh, we got a wish. We're getting wish predictions tonight, folks.
Jacoby Brissett is back.
We're getting wishing well predictions tonight here from Mike. I like it. Okay, flip that coin, man. Flip that coin, brother.
You know what I mean? I'll take
it. One more question I always like to ask on you, and we'll double back around to this to the offseason when you and I meet up on outside the roundtable. We'll definitely be doing this, and I'd like to just know this from you because your Cardinal team is. I think they are getting closer. I think that Gannon's going to be able to probably save his job here with some of the end of the season and Brissett. And we do probably know Brissett will be the guy going into next season. And I know some Cardinal fans won't have as much confidence in that, but I don't think that that's the way that this team's built, that it has to have the amazing a quarterback play. What do the Cardinals got to do this offseason as a forefront priority in order for them to finally take that next step? Is it just let it just keep developing, or is there something aggressively that needs to be done in a major way this offseason for your team to finally break over?
I would like to get now. Michael Wilson gets a bad rep, but we've seen him on Monday night. We've seen him with Jacoby that he makes plays when given the opportunities. But I would like to see some more depth at the wide receiving core. That's what I would love to see. Now, James Conner most likely might be on his way out with the injury. Has people already kind of rumoring that he might not come back. If Trey Benson is that guy for us, cool. That's awesome. But I wouldn't mind taking a flyer in a late round pick, maybe getting somebody that they really like in terms of a running back. But I think main priority is probably wide receiver. I'm not saying the first round. I want to focus on that offense. We went so heavy on the defense this last year. Do you think the only offensive guy that we brought that was new was Hayden Conner, which was a 5th round pick in the draft, and now he's on IR. Everything was defense, just defense. So if this year on the offseason, I would love it to kind of not so much just pivot to just offense, but I need the Cardinals to maybe get themselves a really good, talented wide receiver, first round, second round, who falls. you can get running backs in the later parts of the round. So like I said, if Trey Benson, we're going to give him another year. So like, we don't have to move off of him so quickly, but I would also love to see a quarterback. I want to see a young quarterback get drafted and developed. If Jacoby Brissett is your guy in 2026, why not have a guy learn from Jacoby Brissett to be a pro? That's what I'm looking for. How do you be a pro? You look at Jacoby Brissett and see how he runs things, how he's doing things. That's how you become a pro. And of course, he'll develop the way that he does. But honestly, I think Kyler Murray is getting traded. It's already kind of seems like the rumors are swirling around that the Cardinals are probably going to split with Kyler Murray at this offseason. So
you think somebody's taking on that contract?
The Jets might be brave enough to do something like that, man. You
want to take advantage of the poor lowly Jets? They haven't gone through enough.
They got 3 first-round.
You're going to do them even more dirty, huh? Just even more. Like you're like, well, everyone else does it. Why don't we go on in?
Might as well, man. You might as well. So the Jets look like they're trending in the right direction with all the picks they got. Might as well throw one over to us. You could take our quarterback. And here's the thing too. Like, I'm pretty sure it won't be just like there has to be some sort of like, I'm not going to say split, but you know how negotiations work. Sometimes Cardinals do this, do that. I think things can be done if an owner's willing to do it. So you never know, man. What do you
I feel like the post June 1st is the option to go, because then you can split the 25 between 2 years.
Yeah.
But then you don't get the draft capital back. But then what draft capital are you getting back on a return? So it's like,
yeah,
what's the really more to eat the 50 million on next year's cap and then just swallow it whole, or spread that out a little bit? And I keep coming back to spread out's the better way there. 25 is a lot more manageable year to year than 50, because that's like, oof, that's just start of your dead money then.
I mean, that's why I wanted the Arizona Cardinals to really start thinking about this last year. Like, if kind of, SHIT hit the fan, you kind of had some sort of plan. But that's the thing. The Cardinals always are kind of late to the party, and they're always like, oh, we're going to do it. But like, it's literally too late. Like, there's rumors out there that maybe the Cardinals might have moved off of them, but by the time the light bulb came off and any of these guys, head coach and the ownership, it almost kind of felt like it was too late. There's just too many moving parts. The contract is so big that it's like, you're right. You can't say, oh, you want Jets, you want him, you're sitting at 1-7, he's going to save your career. No, he's not. You know, and you might as well get him when your season is 0-0 and you give some sort of life to the Jets so they can start saying, oh, Kyler Murray, do you see this? And, they start hyping him up. That's all they need to do. So, like, they're 1-7. There's no real chance there. So, like, there's a lot of moving parts with Kyler getting traded on the trade deadline, but I would love for them to prepare. But, that's the Cardinals. They don't. So, maybe this offseason.
Love your approach, Joe. I'll tell you what. Jordan Tyson wouldn't look too bad.
Oh, give me some suit ties. I would love nothing more than Jordan Tyson.
Little Jordan and Maserati Marv and Tyson. That'd be a who's stopping that combination, man? With Trey McBride operating out of the tight end position, huh?
Cardinal Tate from Ohio State. Another wide receiver that's doing very well in Ohio State right now. And we love our Ohio State guys. So maybe the Cardinals go that direction if he comes out the draft. But yeah, Jordan Tyson is up there as well.
I like Tate, man. He's going to be an NFL receiver, but Tyson's got something about him, bro. I was watching his tape the other night, and his game is just, it's poetry in motion with how he moves. And he's obviously got some forefront skills out there with the leaping ability and high pointing the ball and tracking the ball and, some of that stuff that you can see right out the gate. But in a lot of ways, it reminds me of a faster DeAndre Hopkins, a guy that once was there at the Cardinals. I see a lot of that in his game. Boy, I think he'd be a problem. I think with Tate, I'd be like, yeah, he's functional. He'll be functional for you guys. But I'd see Tyson as, based off the early tape I saw with him, like, that's a problem.
Yeah. Like the number one wide receiver coming out of this draft is what you're saying, right? Like,
I don't know if all people will consider so, but he's going to be up there because that's the thing. This is a deep wide receiver. Based on what we're hearing so far, it's a deeper wide receiver class. So there's going to be a lot of names kind of, mingled up in there, and he's a first round guy, and it's kind of quite hard to see where that'll land. And he's got to do his testing times and run and all that stuff. Yeah. But he might be the number one guy when it's all said and done. If not number one, probably definitely top 2 or 3 in there. Maybe your Cardinals be in the position there to grab and jump, because that'd be a hell of an addition.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree.
Well, folks, do me this favor if you can for me. Down in the description section link below, you're going to see a link directly to Mike's channel, AZ Sports Fan. Click that link, hit a sub button up over there, Mike. Show him some love as he comes here and has been here often, taking time out of his day. Very busy schedule here as he's right in the middle of the season running. We got the roundtable tonight, but he took some time away from his schedule to come hang with us and chop it up and talk about this game. So please do show him some love over there. Get subbed up over on that side as he will be back here again. And we all, if you're not aware, do the NFC West Roundtable every Tuesday at 6 p.m. on that channel side. One of my cohorts over there is Mike. So you do want to get subbed up on his side of it. Best
Sure.
Arizona coverage there is out there by far.
Thank
No
you,
one's
man.
even
Appreciate
close.
it.
So, well, thank you for coming on today, Mike. I really appreciate you as always chopping up in here. It's going to be fun an hour here to go round and round in the round table as everybody in NFC West going to be feeling himself this week, as well they should for the best division in all of football. I would wish you luck in this next coming game, but we need this, man. We're hot. We're rolling. We want to keep this ball going. I think it's going to be a tight game like you and I've talked about. I think a lot of Hawk fans would love to feel like this is a runaway kind of game and that we're cooking, engines are firing, and this is just going to be a quick right out the other side. But division game, tough Cardinal team, a defense that's going to play like nails. We're going to have to go earn this win this week. It's going to have to be one that might even come down the line there. Although I like the last matchup, but that's just the nature of the NFC West, right, Mike?
100%, man. 100%. Always tough.
Well, thank you folks for watching today. If you can for me, hit that like button, sub up both to mine and Mike's channel if you get a chance. We will be back an hour over with the NFC West Roundtable to chop it up over there as well. But until next time, Michael, here on this side of it, which I'll get you back this off season. I appreciate you for doing this as ever, man, as people love these kind of background looks at your team. Nobody covers it like you guys do on the side. So gives them that real good background on it. Back soon, folks. Till next time, please don't you ever forget, go Hawks.